We are live. Hold on. I got to do my video. Hey, welcome back. How's it going? As always, Nate Mumford, Director of Sales Engineering here at RCS. Hey, good news. I can still troubleshoot even other people's software. I found a bug in this current streaming software. I will notify them accordingly, but we are live once again. Sorry for the delay. How's it going? Excited for today because we're going to showcase a really cool RCS Live, the brand new Zetta 524.1. Some of the new features there. I'm really excited to talk about this. Excited to talk about big things we have coming up in 2025. Things like, for example, audio display. You know, we can take over your car dashboard and schedule campaigns like the Nate's Law Firm, and we can, you can bill it, sell for extra added revenue, and also help out with some of that HD display as well. There's really cool things going on with audio display. You want to check it out. We have a previous RCS Live video on there too. Of course, all of our old videos are also on our archive over at rcsworks.com/rcs-live, or just live. And all the videos are over there. So you want to check out audio display and you want to check out some of these cool features with that. Check out our old videos over at rcsworks.com, the blog section, and the RCS Live archive. Let's see here. Some other housekeeping to get out of the way. Let's just dive right into it. Let's go ahead and talk about it, right? Sounds good. As always, I have my chat open. So I have, I got YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch on there. So if you have any questions, they keep moving the chat portion. There it is now. So the chat is live over there. So you should be able to hear me there too. So any questions, let me know. And let's go ahead and dive right into our 524.1. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for checking in. So let's talk about the brand new Zetta 524.1. If you notice, it's 24 as in the year, right? A couple little just things to get out of the way in regards to 524.1. This is a great build, right? So you'll hear us say a couple times like a target build if we're doing multiple upgrades per year, or maybe just one upgrade per year. This is a great one to look at. So if you're one of those users who I like to upgrade once a year, focus on this one right here. Some of the disclaimers is we did some under the hood optimizations you'll hear in a second. So you do need to upgrade to GSelector 5.1.1 first, which was also released. And if only there was a video of GSelector 5.1.1 on our RCS Live archive with John Bonneau, our GSelector product manager. Oh, wait, there is actually one of those videos on our archive. So you can check out some of those new features, including quarter-hour rotations. That's in there. But just a heads up, if you want to get this Zetta 524.1 and you're integrated with GSelector, you're going to want to upgrade GSelector 5.1.1 first and then 524.1. I know there's a lot of numbers there. Guess what? If only you can email or call in support, we'll help you out with that upgrade and that install. And we know, obviously, that we'll ask you, hey, do you have GSelector integration? We'll do that one first, right? And yes, absolutely, John is the GOAT. I love it, Mark. So just disclaimer there. Do GSelector first, 5.1.1. Check out the new features on the RCS Live video, and then you can upgrade to the Zetta 524.1. So what are we doing here in the Zetta 524.1? It contains roughly 470 enhancements, 470 enhancements. This is a great, as I said, a great target build for you and your users. They fixes everything from just, the whole gamut. I can go into these details, but there's not enough time, so I want to showcase some of the fun stuff. The biggest one, in our opinion, is the brand new Sequencer Failover. Yes, the Sequencer Failover. So the idea is if I go to configuration and I go to stations, right? And I pick my station right here, right? Right here is the sequencer computer. I know it's a little technical, but this is essentially what machine is in charge of playing out that sequencer. And just to remind you, the Zetta topography here, if I have, let's say, a Zetta SQL server in the rack room, and I have a, let's say, Zetta sequencer machine that's control of the on-air product, and a control room, right? When we do anything from the control room or the production room or Zetta to go, it's being referenced by this sequencer computer here, right? And so if I do a hot spare or something, I can move some play devices there. But what we introduced in Zetta 524.1 is the concept of a sequencer failover. It's really hard for me to show in this little demo environment, so I apologize. But the idea is, notice there's a drop down now in that sequencer computer. So now what we can do is I can say, hey, I'm going to show you this one, and then I'm going to pivot over to this over here. And I have a really awful, bear with me, I'm sorry, very old school approach. I just stole a screenshot from one of our training sessions with Mike. Shout out to Mike, our product manager for Zetta. Notice here, what you'll see is in the Zetta services right here is the idea of essentially the primary in green. The red is one that's down, and the yellow, which one is an idle, ready to fail over in that current state. So in that example, we would define here 3 sequencer computers, right? And then we can essentially fail over automatically, which is really, really powerful. And don't forget, there's also, of course, any type of GPOs that you want to include in this air chain as well. So we have some engineers that are getting creative here by essentially allowing Zetta's sequencer failover to now be included in that air chain. That is huge. That is a huge feature. I know a lot of users are asking for it for a long time, and we have it on there for you. So we're really, really excited about that brand new sequencer failover. I mentioned earlier about GSelector. We also redesigned the GSelector live log and live library, live integration under the hood. So now I'm not going to get too technical on this call. Just know we optimized it. As you know, RCS always loves to plan for the next 5-10 years. And this is one of those enhancements that we really wanted to modernize under the hood. And so we have a much more robust and sophisticated way of integrating between GSelector and Zetta. And that's why you want to upgrade to your GSelector 5.1.1 first, so we can establish the GSelector side of things, then the Zetta, do the integration, and we're good to go there. So that's also really exciting. A little teaser on there. We utilize some of Zetta's site replication and use that to essentially send and receive some of those elements, which is, again, just awesome. Let's talk about user activity for a second. This is brand new. I'm going to close this window here. And again, these are just some of the features I thought we would highlight today. As I said, there's 470 if you want to check them out. They got release notes. You can reach out to RCS support. There's tons of resources for you. Check out some of those new features so you can read up on them. I'm going to right-click on any one of these assets. I'm going to go to the View section in the log here, and you'll see there's a brand new option for log event changes. Let's go open up this window right here. And don't forget, you can scale this all you want. So you can see there's already a couple different log modifications I did earlier, just to show you that there's changes in the system, right? The idea here is this is an administrative engineering enhancement that allows us to see what's going on, not only in the log structure, but also on the individual metadata cart itself. So you can see here, I got a couple imports, couple elements added. I'm going to take this song right here, left click, drag it into the log as the next element. You'll see this should refresh over here as well. Boom, there's a new element. And you'll see, hey, Soul Sister was added here in the log elements. Now, the log viewer is really more of kind of a troubleshooting on the go kind of thing. It can be used as both, obviously, but it's not something that you're going to keep open and up at all times, right? You don't really need to see this. You're just kind of looking for if there's something going on. And these same log changes are also reflected over in the tools and reports section as well. So as I said, don't feel like this is something you need to kind of keep open and display at all times. It's more so if you're searching for something, right? if you're looking for a change in behavior or maybe a lack of a change in behavior, that's a great resource for you. And that's just right-clicking on here, going to the view, going to log event changes, and you can see there, you can see some previous changes that were there. And again, we have the typical Zetta, date, active location, subtype, edit codes, computer, and usernames. So we can see exactly what's going on. This should look very similar to that of the reports, but we just have it in the log module now for even easier access, right? And so then from there, Whatnot track the individual metadata cart changes as well. So I'm going to double click on this train record here, expand it. You can see that I already have open is this changes subtab. So now we have the audio, extra, station specific, blah, 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 and the changes tab right here. So if I go and change this to a test and hit save on here, you'll see there's a change on that asset type. Going back, I'll remove it, hit save one more time, and then you'll see there's another change on train Hey Soul Sister. In fact, I'm going to leave that trailing space. I don't like that. Right, Mark? I like to do a dot our I's, cross our T's. If I go back to that train record, go back to the changes, look, boom, we can see right there all of those changes. And notice we're seeing that the metadata cart with the asset was changed on this computer at that time. I always make this joke. When I was back working in support, I got a phone call, somebody saying, hey, somebody is adding audio to my log that I don't want them to add. And I said, okay, well, let's go in their user activity reports and see who it is. And it was essentially the user everyone. So the user everyone was adding music to the log. And their question, rightfully so, was, who's the user everyone? Right? Well, you tell me. They're the user everyone. So this is where really we want to encourage you to start having and identifying individual users and users' roles. Because as we start to look at some of these great administrative features in Zetta, it's going to allow you to track different changes much more easily and visibly inside the system, which is just great to see, right? And we're seeing a lot more centralization to a lot of our users. So this is great from an admin perspective, because now we can go from one centralized location and identify some usernames, some roles, and where it was done, and the changes to the asset. That's the idea there. So that's user activity. Pretty cool over there. I mentioned the GSelector integration. I'm not going to show this, but we also did some Ember Plus enhancements for Lavo. So if you have a Lavo audio over IP solution, I should say, we have some enhancements there as well. That's very technical, so I'm not going to bore you with those details. But if you do have a Lavo environment, we have a whole bunch of Ember Plus enhancements there for you, which is really cool. We also have a metadata extraction. We now use BAS instead of AFC, which is also really important as well. I'm not getting too technical in that whole thing, but the idea here is that if I had an asset in iTunes and I drop it into my Zetta system, we will respect that metadata as well. So we're talking the AMU, we're talking the ID3v1, ID3v2, cart chunk, and XML. Those metadata there, we're now able to extract that metadata from much more audio formats we can do beforehand, and then, of course, add that metadata into the Zetta environment. We're talking title, artists, ISRC, album, publish, label, sponsor, product, all that good stuff. That's really exciting to see for a lot of our users, especially a lot of auto loads with that AMU templates. We can get those in there as well, which is humongous. It's really, really a great feature there too. And then, of course, we have the less fun, exciting things to talk about, which was just the SQL database enhancements. I mentioned 470 enhancements. Some of them are great. UI right in your face. Check out these changes in the metadata cart. Others are like, we totally optimized SQL in the back end. You're like, cool, Nate. That's awesome. But just trust me, there's some really cool things going on in the background as well. We also made some additional changes to the GPO output variables page as well. Essentially, if I go to configuration and computers, and I jump to any type of my GPO and routes, so covered command mappings. That's what I'm going to go to. Sorry, command mappings. My bad. System. And then command mappings here. Where are my command mappings? Right there. Awesome. We had a new properties window down here. So you can see there, that's also a little fancy and a little new too. So from an engineering, designing, building, adding stations, adding GPIOs, engineers are going to love that. Just a little more clean, crisp, and easy to read in regards to GPIO and just outlining those in there too. So that's also a great enhancement as well. And there's so much more. So as I said, if you're curious about looking to get a new Zetta 524.1, there's release notes. You can either poke me or poke support, whoever it is, and we'll get you those release notes. You can read up on it. If you are GSelector integrated, we want to go to GSelector 5.1.1 first, right? And then we want to upgrade that and then do Zetta 5.24.1 afterwards. And if you're curious about any of this, don't forget, we don't expect you to do this by yourself. We're always here for you. That's why we have RCS support. It's why you pay for RCS support. And there's also a bookings and upgrading URL as well, which is rcsworks.com/ I believe it's bookings, if I'm not mistaken, right? Bookings. And that will allow you to essentially schedule your upgrade with an RCS support technician to help you out there as well. Last call for questions here, just for time, because I saw one in here. Audio features, danceability. Interesting. So, okay. All right. I probably shouldn't. That was great. I'll show it for a second and do it. I saw your question. The question is how about audio features like energy, danceability, stuff like that? So I think you're referring to a lot of these features over here in the station specific and these attributes right here. The short answer is this: danceability, right? Okay, danceability. Is that a you or is that a them? Like, who defines what is a danceability song? But I don't want to discourage you because there's a lot of great things you can do with that. So these scalable options, you can always include them. There's also user-defined values as well. So yes, if you had GSelector, those would be scheduling attributes. If you're working in the Zetta world, those are more visual aid attributes. But you can totally go and customize those if you want to. That would be under, let's see, that would be under themes appearances. It's been, I'm so long here. Yeah, because it's row highlighting themes, appearances, and then, you can highlight the appearances here. Thank you, Nate. I go to configuration and I would go to system, and that would be the asset types. No. It would be I'm having a little brain here. Custom fields. Thank you, Nate. I got there. A lot of it stuff. So you can see here, I had this little important information, right? So to answer your question, how can I customize this with all this? The idea is that we don't know where those values are when they match in, but we can still do a custom field to identify some of those danceability and include our own values in there as well. So not only can create the attribute, create the values here. And by the way, in case you're curious, there is a video on that as well on our archive, and I'll put that here just for argument's sake. It's the rcsworks.com/rcs-live. That's look for custom fields that will help you out in how to design that. So we have more of the metadata that's included in there. You could get creative with something where if you're importing the ID3 tag with a certain field, we can put that value in that corresponding field. But we're getting very, very technical here. And the reality is that danceability to you is danceability to somebody else. So when we use these AMUs, we're really talking about those core attributes, the title, artist, as I said, the ISRC, album, publisher, label, sponsor, and product. Those are the ones we're including in there. However, I also want to mention too, don't forget in GSelector, we have the audio analysis tool. So when you have GSelector and Zetta live integrated, if you jump over, once the audio is available in Zetta, GSelector sees that audio. We can then go to the library, song, and audio analysis, or a mass change audio analysis, and that will give you the mood, energy, tempo, BPM, texture in, texture outs, and stuff like that. So to answer your question, and I would love to show you, but I think for the PG people in the room, I can't. That's to answer your question. So if you're looking to how to automatically import some of those scores, in GSelector, we do an audio analysis based on the audio that we see in Zetta. We can run an audio analysis to find those values. With the live integration, they appear right in there. So not only can you use those scheduling attributes, you can use those also as visual attributes as well. So that's going to answer your question. So short answer, if you want to really customize this, custom fields. Otherwise, use the fields that are given to you, and you can pre-populate them over on the GSelector side, right? Cool. Okay, so last call for questions here, but just want to review once again. So Zetta 5.24.1 out right now. GSelector 5.1.1 out right now as well. We talked about the Sequencer Failover. That's going to be such a great enhancement, right? It's so awesome. We're so excited for that. Then we have the user activity. We can look at the changes in the metadata cart. That's also including our reporting as well. We have a brand new under the hood GSelector integration, right? Where we use the site replication in Zetta. No more MSMQ if you care. We have Ember Plus for those Lavo users enhancements. We now have metadata extraction as well, so we can get some of those ID3, V1, V2 cart chunks, XML, AMU metadata. We can copy those over as well. SQL enhancements, GPIO visibility enhancements, and just so much more. 470. I don't have time to talk about that many. So if you are curious about that, again, rcsworks.com/bookings, or you can reach out to RCS support or myself. You can check out those. If you want more elements too, you can also check out our archive over at rcsworks.com/RCS-live. So there you go. Any last minute questions? And yeah, I'll leave you with this, by the way, because hold on 1 second. I am getting over a cold if you haven't noticed. So what they want to touch base on, just so you know, that we have done this as we're wrapping up the year, leading into 2025. We have over 150 of these RCS live videos, how-tos, tips and tricks, all that good stuff. And they're a great resource for you. I know that in the industry, there's some things that are going on right now. Ooh, man. And I have to prefer to think of it as a little bit of a glass half full, if you will. And yeah, it's nature of the beast. It's the industry. We all know it. We're in it. We love it. It is what it is. What I want to really showcase, though, is that as we go into 2025, there are resources here for you and your team, right? And the idea is that as we try to do more with less people, it's just the reality of the situation. There are resources here for you. There's some great ones on our website, rcsworks.com. I mentioned the archive. Oh, man, I'm going here. There's some great resources and videos for you, right? So I just want to encourage you over the holidays and in January and all that. If anything ever, let's say I'm looking for something, don't forget the cough button. Thank you. Oh, man, this is like getting me. I'm trying to be sincere here, and it's butchering me. Listen, there's 150 videos of how-tos, tips and tricks, all that good stuff. Don't feel you're on your own. Ask your questions and be specific of your questions. That's why you have RCS support. It's why you have these videos. And so there's, yes, thank you, Mark. There's so many great things coming in 2025 that we're really, really excited for. And so in the spirit of the end of the year, probably my last RCS live of this year, and again, glass half full. I even brought a prop here for you. You know, there's resources for you. I know I keep saying it, but you're not alone here, and we can help you out. Let us know what we can do to help, right? If you call in and say, show us Zetta, it's a tough one. But if you say, hey, look, I'm listening to do this. I'm looking to do this. I'm looking to achieve this. We are definitely here to help you. Let us know what we can do. And as I said earlier, there's a full archive of videos. If you have questions, email me, email whoever it is. We have an email live@rcsworks.com as well. We are here to help you out. And I guess what I'm trying to say in between coughing and losing my voice is that it's been a great 2024. I'm really excited for 2025. And cheers. Thank you so much. Enjoy the archive, and I'll see you guys next year. Have a great one. Bye-bye.